Well, hello there, my friends. I am coming to you recording from my very messy craft room, as you can see, and my friend Teddy. Teddy, say hi. Can you say hi to the kids? Yes, there's our dog Teddy. So now you have met Ted. So now you've met Teddy, and now we'll go ahead and talk about expectations for this year. This is on page 5 of the packet you got today. The first page has kind of a rundown of what's in there. I don't have page numbers on it, but you can add them in there as you go if you want to. And then there's some information about what we'll be covering and the standards and all that educational stuff that, you know, nobody ever reads. So let's take a look at this first page. You'll notice on the first page, my Twitter is at jbushchemteach. I do have a Remind, and I would appreciate it if you would all sign on to the Remind at HONBUSH. That is so if something happens, and like for instance, this happens a lot, first hour I may assign something to you, and then fourth hour something may happen and I don't assign it to them. So that way I can send a remind out and say, hey, first hour, you don't actually have to do this. Or I can remind you, hey, tomorrow's mold day, don't forget to bring your project. Or I can remind you of some other important thing. We have a test tomorrow, Friday quiz, things like that. So it is a good way to communicate with me to have that Remind set up. The third thing I'm trying this year is the Google Classroom, and it's at ZAO31C. This is new for me. I've always used Moodle. Last year's kids convinced me, though, that really I need to give the Google Classroom a try. It's the same sign-on as Moodle is, I think. I don't really know how all of this works. I know how Moodle works, and I know how Remind works. I know how some of the other ones work, but we're going to try this. So if you know Google Classroom, maybe you can help me out. My expectations, I'm not going to read this. You've been in school for 10, 11, 12 years, if you started in kindergarten, some of you. You know the rules. You know the routine. You don't need me to go through this with you. So I would like you to read over it, and then you'll notice it's a 2-page document. And then the third page, I'd like you to take that home, have your parents sign it. Notice I want you to print your name because I can't read all your signatures. Have your parents sign that and bring that back by Friday. Okay? The couple things that I am going to go over on here, the way I break up tests. Tests will account for 40% of your grade. Quizzes are 20%. I don't know why it says about, because it's not about. It is 20%. Assignments are 10%. Labs are 30%. Okay? I weight my grades, so as a grade goes in, that can be somewhat misleading if you don't have any grades in there for a test yet, because that's a fairly large chunk of your grade. And if one test goes in and you have the first test is low, the next test can help bring you back up, so don't panic. Talking about tests, I have found that doing test retakes doesn't usually make much of a difference. I'm going to allow test retakes, but test retakes will only be allowed if you completed the review and the entire unit packet that you get before you take the test. You'll do that over the few weeks before the test. If that is complete, then I will consider a retake. If you haven't done anything to study, I'm not going to let you retake it. If something comes up and you know, I'm always willing to talk. If you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this today because my dad was in the hospital last night, or my puppy was puking all night, I'm reasonable. I'm totally reasonable. Just talk to me. Alright, I just switched microphones. I can't figure out what's making the high-pitched noise in the background. I've turned off a light, and I'm not sure what it was. I thought maybe it was the mic, but the mic was coming undone as well, so we'll move on like this. You can read through the rest of this. Tardy policy, hall passes, attendance policy. You're going to take this next page home, have it signed. You're going to print your name so that I know who it is, because I can't read most of your signatures, because you all have your autograph style already done for when you're famous. And then bring that back by Friday. Alright, lab safety. Again, here's something that you have been primed since you were in 6th grade, I'm quite sure, because in 6th grade you had access to labs. You should know the basic rule is no horseplay. Listen to what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, ask questions. The way I do labs is I will have you guys doing labs in a flipped situation where you will do the lab in advance. You will do the pre-lab along with a video, or you can just draw it out on your own from the lab notebook. But that actually works really well, as I said in the video for the golf ball lab, because when you draw it, it sticks in your brain better, and it actually makes sense what you're going to do, and you make fewer mistakes. I can tell you that because I've seen it happen in class now for several years. Again, the most important thing is to not screw around, follow directions, read the directions. If you're not sure, ask questions, and be safe. Alright, here's something that I didn't know I could do. I can draw with this program. Alright, safety shower right here. The eyewash station is right next to the safety shower. The fire extinguisher is out here in the hall. There's a fire blanket over here. It's in a square box on the wall. First aid kit. There's one that's on the table up under the goggles cabinet. There's also one mounted to the wall. Fire alarm and telephone. The phone will be over here. And I'm at home, so I can't tell you where the fire alarm is right off my head, but you can figure it out. Goggles are up here to the right of the whiteboards. Glassware. We have glassware above Lab 5, Lab 4, for the most part, some in Lab 3. The fume hood is right here. And of course, the exits. Alright, yours will look a lot neater and nicer than this, I'm sure. Alright, and there you go.